most watched at 9 p.m. This is 4029 News on the Arkansas CW. Live, local, late breaking. If it happened in the last few hours, you'll see it now on 4029 News at 9 on the Arkansas CW.
We have some election numbers just in for 2 different school districts tonight.
Yes, we do. The millage tax increases are to build more school rooms. New results from today's election show us that so far voters in Gravette don't want to pay more. Absentee and early voting shows 390 votes against and 90 for the tax. If approved, the school district will build a new elementary school and add 6 new classrooms to the existing high school. That vote is for raising taxes to fund the construction.
And new at 9, the early and absentee voting numbers are in for the Greenwood School District's vote. Here's a live look at where they could be getting a new freshman center. The latest number shows 679 for and 454 against. The school says the center will house 300 to 400 freshman students. In our Commitment 2014 coverage today, we found out one man running for governor has more cash on hand than his opponent. You can see Republican Asa Hutchinson had about $667,000 at the end of August. That's more than twice as much as Mike Ross had. And you've probably seen where all their cash is going. Both candidates are spending on TV ads to win your vote.
Happening now, a live look where construction could cause some problems for hog fans this weekend. Crews are working on Razorback Road. In some places, you can't even walk on the sidewalks, and that could make it hard for people to walk to the game on Saturday. Fayetteville says the work to expand the half-mile of the roadway from MLK to Bud Walton Arena to 4 lanes should be finished by next spring. The total cost for the entire project is $235,000.
City leaders say a prank caused some commotion when a creek mysteriously turned lime green. 4029's Lindsey tells us what happened.
It started off neon green and turned a teal blue. City leaders say someone dyed Little Sugar Creek in Bella Vista as a prank. Today, crews from several departments got a call the creek had turned green. Firefighters from Bentonville tested the pH levels in the water and determined whatever was in the water wasn't toxic. Crews then tested a theory. Their test proved positive, and the Parks and Rec director says he thinks someone dropped dye into the creek, turning it this bright green color. Crews say the dye isn't dangerous and won't hurt any of the creek's plant or wildlife. Emily Maha, 4029 News.
And crews tells the creek water should be back to normal by this time tomorrow morning.
And today we learned the mystery virus, as it's called, is a concern in the natural state. Health officials sent 4 samples to the Centers for Disease Control for testing. The virus has already put hundreds of kids in the hospital with breathing problems, and it's been confirmed in our neighboring states as well. A
case of the chickenpox at a local high school sends more than 100 students home. 4029's Paige Poisey's in Fayetteville to explain what students must do in order to return.
Those students here at Fayetteville High School have just 48 hours to get or prove they've gotten the second chickenpox vaccine or a case of the virus from the past.
If they don't, they must stay home for 21 days. The rules come from an Arkansas health regulation that took effect September this year. Today, dozens of high school students say the school quarantined them because they didn't meet that requirement. The school district says staff did isolate the students.
They grabbed a whole bunch of kids from one classroom, and then they took us to the lecture hall, which is a good 200 seats in there, and just said, sit down and call your parents and see what happens.
The school district says it will work with students who have to miss class because they were unable to get the vaccine. Those missed days won't count as absences. In Fayetteville, Paige Poisey, 4029 News.
And you can request an exemption form from the state health department if you have a medical problem or if vaccines go against your personal views.
Our state's attorney general is out of the hospital tonight and says he's doing fine. Dustin McDaniel was admitted yesterday. He says he had a bad reaction to some blood pressure medicine and called it a minor event.
A man is arrested for murder. Nathan Rotrammel is accused of killing Brian Fisher in Crawford County last month. He's being held on a $100,000 bond.
The family of a former deputy who was murdered outside his home says they'll pay to find out who is responsible. The family is offering a cash reward to find whoever murdered 66-year-old David Jackson. It's been 4 days since the former Sebastian County deputy was found dead at his home. Detectives say they have no suspects. Tonight, the family is talking to 4029 News.
Then you just get a call that, you know, he's been shot in the yard, and that's, I don't know how you deal with it.
Now, he was living in the Bidville community. His family says that's where he always wanted to retire.
Here's a live look from Fort Smith, where next week a museum to honor U.S. Marshals will break ground. But we found out the project is still $35 million short of its goal. We talked to the man in charge to see how they're paying for construction.
It will take quite a time to build a museum, to do all the site preparations. So we will start and self-fund phase 1.
Starting next year, you can buy Marshall coins, which will also help pay for the project. It's expected to be open in 2017.
Fayetteville City Council has approved new bulletproof vests for officers. The Fayetteville Police Department asked Council to approve a $40,000 federal grant, and that grant is expected to pay for half of the 121 vests that police want. Now, the vests cost about $700 each. 4029
was the first to tell you about a company bringing new jobs to our area. Total Quality Logistics plans to open on Enterprise Drive in Lowell. The company connects shippers with truckers who can move cargo. The company says it will create about 50 jobs. A top Walmart executive is stepping down after the company learned he didn't finish his college degree. I spoke with Dave Tovar, the vice president of corporate communications. He told me he was up for a promotion when Walmart discovered he didn't finish college, even though that's what it said on his resume. Tovar said he thought he graduated from the University of Delaware, but later discovered he was short a few credit hours. He told me he now wants to finish his art degree. Our Happening Now poll, do you think that executive should have lost his job? Here's a look at how you voted so far. You can still cast your vote by calling the number on your screen or vote online on Facebook or Twitter. Well, the clouds starting to break up tonight. Let's take a live look outside in Rogers. 4029 Chief Meteorologist Drew Michaels here to tell us if the rain is moving out.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have to deal with rain for tonight. It looks pretty good by tomorrow morning. Temperatures starting out for your Wednesday in the lower 60s in northwest Arkansas. Sunshine returns up to 77 at 11 o'clock in the morning throughout the River Valley. Overnight tonight, expect lows in the upper 60s, so comfortable enough you can wear the shorts outside tomorrow morning. 74 at 9 a.m. by 11 o'clock in the morning. 80 degrees. However, more clouds will roll in, and so will the thunderstorms. I'll let you know when to plan for them coming up in your 4029 weather forecast.
New at 9, many of you are getting a head start on buying costumes for Halloween, so we stopped by some stores in Fort Smith today that opened up a month before the hallowed holiday, and we asked, what's the hot seller?
This early in the season, Frozen seems to be the costume that's been selling. But the animatronics, we have, people that are diehard Halloween fans that come in on the first, second day that we open to buy up the new animatronics that we have every year.
Now, the store Spirit predicted the popular costumes for boys will be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That sounds good. And superheroes.
I think my daughter will be Frozen. Also new at 9, we stopped by some local nurseries to see if the pumpkins are out yet, but so far, looks like it's still the mums that are for sale. The president takes a new stand to fight a deadly disease.
And Minnesota's governor is sounding off on Adrian Peterson. 4029's Craig Cannon has what's making news from coast to coast.
The president this afternoon said the Ebola outbreak is spiraling out of control and that the world is looking to us for help. He's ordering 3,000 troops to West Africa. They'll build new centers to train health workers. He said an American general will be in charge of the center and organizing that relief effort. Just hours ago, the NFL Players Union appealed Ray Rice's indefinite suspension. The former Baltimore Raven drew the punishment after video was released showing him punching his wife in an elevator. The union had until midnight to file that appeal. And Minnesota's governor tonight says he thinks Vikings running back Adrian Peterson should still be suspended. The NFL player is accused of child abuse after police say he used a switch to spank his 4-year-old son, leaving deep welts on his legs. The Vikings yesterday announced Peterson will play this weekend. And we asked you yesterday if you think Peterson should get to play on Sunday. Here's a look at how you voted. It looks like a majority of you do think he should take the field. Police tonight say that they're searching for a possible mass murderer. Pennsylvania police are looking for a man who killed an officer over the weekend. They say he's a survivalist who wants to kill cops and commit mass murder. About 200 officers are looking for him tonight.
Thousands of people today gathered to remember the Navy Yard shootings in Washington.
12 people died when a gunman opened fire. Tonight we find out if our military bases are any safer after that attack.
And do you tip when you travel? The hotel chain that wants you to remember to leave cash. And this is a live look outside where we're staying dry right now. Chief Meteorologist Drew Michaels will tell us when our next cold front moves in.